Hello and welcome back. We're going to jump into the second section of the preface of A Course in Miracles. It is titled, What It Is. As its title implies, the Course is arranged throughout as a teaching device. It consists of 3 books, a 669-page text, a 488-page workbook for students, and a 92-page manual for teachers. The order in which students choose to use the books and the ways in which they study them depend on their particular needs and preferences. So there's not a specific order that you have to study this in. The curriculum the course proposes is carefully conceived and is explained, step by step, at both the theoretical and practical levels. It emphasizes application rather than theory, and experience rather than theology. It specifically states that, quote, a universal theology is impossible, but a universal experience is not only possible, but necessary, close quote. And I just want to go over that quickly. It emphasizes application rather than theory. So this isn't meant to be something that we just discuss and go really deep in, even though I love going deep in things. So, I mean, we'll do a little bit of that, but not to the exclusion of actually applying what we're learning. The focus is really to apply it because it does no good if it's all just stays as theory. It emphasizes application rather than theory and experience rather than theology. And I looked up what theology means, even though I think I know what it means, but I've never heard it used in this way. And theology is a critical study of the divine. So this is saying that it's emphasizing application rather than theory and experience rather than theology. So it's they're basically the same thing. Just again saying this isn't supposed to be just a critical study of something. We want you to experience what we're talking about, not just have lofty thoughts and conversations about it. So, um, and then that that next line, it specifically states that a universal theology is impossible, but a universal experience is not only possible but necessary. And here's my take on that. I'm not convinced that I'm correct, so it's just one possible take, right? Um, a universal theology is impossible. So if theology is a critical study of the divine, that makes sense to me because you're never going to have everyone agree on who God is, what he's like, if he's even a he, you know, like finding this universal theology for everyone. I can see that being impossible. And I know that there are religions that are like, our religion is the true religion, but you're never going to get everyone to believe that. Um, so you can continue to believe that. That's fine. I don't know that this is going against that, but it's just never going to be universally accepted. Um, but a universal experience is not only possible but necessary. A universal experience. And the thought I had, like the example that came to my mind was when we talked in the last video about um, how the purpose of the course is to connect you to your own internal teacher, and that came as the example to my mind of a universal experience. We all it's not only possible for us to all connect to our own internal teacher, but it's also necessary. So that's an experience that we are all meant to have and is necessary that we all have. And it being a universal experience, I don't think means that we're all going to experience it in the exact same way. where, we'll all have like a vision, or we'll all, receive inspiration or revelation in the same way, but we're all going to have it in our own way, but it's still going to be essentially a universal experience. I don't know. That's just a thought, an opinion. Let me know in the comments if you have a different take on it. I would love to hear. And then this part, which we quoted yesterday or in the last video. Although Christian in statement, the course deals with universal spiritual themes. It emphasizes that it is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others, this one differing from them only in form. They all lead to God in the end. And I just want to say again that if there are any of you watching this video who are not Christian, um, of any other spiritual path or background, I still hope that you'll stay for the conversation, because there are universal themes. Even though it's put in a Christianity lens, there are still universal themes that I would love to hear other perspectives of. Oh, even though I'm Muslim, this is something that I resonate with and that we believe. Or, even though I'm Jewish, or even though I'm unaffiliated with any religion, and you know, whatever. I think it would be really cool to have this be a safe space where we can have those conversations. So, anyway, I hope you'll stay. Okay, moving on. The text is largely theoretical, which is interesting, right? Because it said that it emphasizes application rather than theory. So, stay with me here. The text is largely theoretical and sets forth the concepts on which the course's thought system is based. Its ideas contain the foundation for the workbook's lessons. So we're going to get to the workbook in a second. Without the practical application the workbook provides, the text would remain largely a series of abstractions, which would hardly suffice to bring about the thought reversal at which the course aims. The workbook includes 365 lessons, one for each day of the year. It is not necessary, however, to do the lessons at that tempo, and one might want to remain with a particularly appealing lesson for more than one day. The instructions urge only that not more than one lesson a day should be attempted. The practical nature of the workbook is underscored by the introduction to its lessons, which emphasizes experience through application rather than a prior commitment to a spiritual goal. So I just want to go over that really quick. So there is a lesson for each day, right? 365 lessons in the workbook. But it's saying that it emphasizes experience through application rather than a prior commitment to a spiritual goal. So don't just set a goal that you're going to do a workbook lesson every day because you want to complete the workbook within a year. Like that's a goal you have. It's saying, please take this at a pace that feels right. And if you're going along and you're doing one workbook lesson a day and you like feel great, and then all of a sudden you get to a lesson and you really feel like you need to sit with that one for more than a day, for several days, do that, because that's more important than getting through the workbook within a year. Like set those spiritual goals aside and just trust that internal teacher, right? This is all about connecting to that internal teacher. Trust that your internal teacher will let you know when you need to sit with something for a little bit longer. So then this quotes part of the introduction to the workbook. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept them. You need not even welcome them. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. But do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains. And whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. And that's the end of the quoting of the introduction to the workbook. And just in case you are thinking, well, if I'm actively resisting these ideas, does that mean that they are leading me astray? Like there's something, it's going to take me off the right path? No. My experience with the workbook, because I've read this entire book, so all of the text, all of the workbook for students, and the manual for teachers. And my experience with the workbook is that, especially in the beginning, they are more mental exercises, and it's more um, helping your mind to see things differently. We are so locked into a very mortal, finite way of thinking, and the workbook for students has you go do these mental exercises that start to help you kind of expand and think on a higher plane. I don't know how else to describe it. Um, and so, especially some of those first workbook lessons that you go through, it's sort of like, wait, what? And it's more mental, it's not so much spiritual. Later in the workbook, they start to be more spiritual lessons, and those I did not find any kind of resistance to. It was more the first ones where it's like, it's sort of mind bending. I guess maybe is the way to describe it. It's a little bit mind bending. So don't be afraid. I hope that you'll go check out the workbook, because you can be doing the workbook while we go through the text. So anyway, they don't have to be you don't have to do all of one and then all of another. Like I said at the beginning, you can do it in whatever order you want, or simultaneously. All right, finally, the Manual for Teachers, which is written in question and answer form, provides answers to some of the more likely questions a student might ask. It also includes a clarification of a number of the terms the course uses, explaining them within the theoretical framework of the text. The course makes no claim to finality, nor are the workbook lessons intended to bring the student's learning to completion. At the end, the reader is left in the hands of his or her own internal teacher, who will direct all subsequent learning as he sees fit. And I'm just going to pause here and just let you know, forewarn you, everything in A Course in Miracles is in the masculine. So it will always refer to like the sons and daughters of God as sons. It never says daughters. It never says she. It's always he, him, sons, that kind of thing. And I just trust that if the masculine does not resonate with you, just know that it's A Course in Miracles is very concise. It's already over 1,200 pages long. So if it had to, be explicit about the different genders or the different, whatever, it would be even longer. So I think for conciseness, it just put everything into the masculine and trusted that you and I would be able to adapt as needed. So I hope that won't be a hang up for any of you. So yeah, if you feel like your internal teacher is not male, that's okay. So, so your internal teacher who will direct all subsequent learning as he or she sees fit. While the course is comprehensive in scope, truth cannot be limited to any finite form, as is clearly recognized in the statement at the end of the workbook. So now it's quoting that statement. This course is a beginning, not an end. No more specific lessons are assigned, for there is no more need of them. Henceforth, hear but the voice for God. He will direct your efforts, telling you exactly what to do, how to direct your mind, and when to come to him in silence, asking for his sure direction and his certain word. And I just love that. That resonated a lot with me, because I think maybe it's today's world or something where people put themselves as experts, or I'm the final word on something, or all you need is me and my course or my, whatever. And so I just love that this just acknowledges that there's no way all truth could be condensed into one finite form. And so, again, as it said in the previous section of the preface, the purpose is to connect you to your internal teacher. And this is not finishing this book, will not be an end. It will be the beginning, a new beginning of hopefully you being more connected and being able to be guided by your internal teacher rather than a text, rather than a book, right? So I just love that. And that is the end of this middle section of the preface. So next time we will go over the last section of the preface, and I'm really excited for that. So hope to see you there.